Test, test. Test, test. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's Sim Racing Heat Grand Prix. It's from Miami, as you can see. It's race 14 out of 17 for season 4. And we are currently looking at the track map. You might be familiar with that race since just happened to be the race in the real world where main win happened, and it came for the man Lando Norris himself. He finally broke that record of 15 podiums without a win, and yeah, he is now F1's 114th different race winner in our Sports 70 plus history. Let's see if we can have a new winner tonight as well. Let's look at the result from last time. It was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We had a very hectic end to the race as all top 3 drivers battled it out into the chicane on the last lap, with critical damage eventually taking the lead from Andy Andre and Nordic Ninja, followed closely by Kovetska, Fellerson, Moksha, and then we had Racing Wiener and also Crank York. Fastest lap went to Kugi, who had a very interesting and good race on his debut, and he was unfortunately involved in an incident after running into the back of Andy and costing his front wing. Nosibo was the last finisher. Also Nico was there for the first time, and then we had also Kismukus, Ingenious Supermax, and Tsiako, who had a very hefty... How do you say this? Had a very severe crash. It was quite heavy, hitting the barriers at the first passing of turn 3. And yeah, we got 3 new drivers. That debuted last time, and now I know. Okay, sorry. So Racing Wiener is Aiden. I'm just gonna go with Aiden because that's way easier. I just realized looking at the Discord. So tonight we have the following picture. For tonight, we got the following picture in terms of the standings. Critical Damage leads with 2 victories. With 3 races to go, that's quite a margin. And Nordic Ninja is not here for tonight, which means only Andy can really challenge Critical to the title at the moment. Since if there's a retirement, then you will probably take the opportunity to move past. Let me check something here real quick before we get into the game. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's basically the story, and Ferrari is running away with the championship. They need a good result tonight, outscoring Red Bull, which would be kind of impossible not to do so. Sorry, Kismakus, but your points haven't been contributing too much. Yeah, Mercedes is closely matched again, and still a nice and interesting battle with Alfa Romeo, who are now supported by 2 new drivers. Then we got Haas and Alpine and AlphaTauri. Hello, Kismakus, good timing. Thank you very much for your follow. This is the current standing in terms of the drivers and constructors championship, and we will be looking to see if Critical can take away the current championship. Championship. Jesus Christ. Let's see if Critical Damage can take the crown away from the current champion. Jesus Christ. We're currently looking at 4.5 14 and a half more minutes of this qualifying session. I'd just like to update you on the drivers. So Kuki and Aiden, who are both here tonight. No, Kuki is not here. Okay, so it's not only Aiden, but these two had their debut last time out. As I talk about, Aiden, he has just spun. Don't get disqualified, mate. Don't get disqualified, bro. Okay, he's going in. They've taken this full-time seat of the Alfa Romeo for the rest of the season. Also, Doi was replaced earlier in the season by ENG, who's also been racing for some time now, as Moksha now beats Supermax to the fastest time for the moment. And Nico, who you can see is currently on the intermediate tires, is also a new partner in the Alpine to Sebo, who has been running in this team alone for the whole of the season. And with 8 tenths ahead of Moksha, critical damage now takes provisional pole position. And yeah, that's basically it. And as you can see, Mercedes are once again, just like last time, here with just one driver, that's Andy. Who the fuck is Zeva G? That's Nordic's replacement, I would assume. And then we got Fellison, who's also here, Kovatska, the team partner of critical damage. There's no second Williams here again, so Viga is missing out on this race as well, as Aiden comes into the pits. Musiba's just on an out lap. Kovatska's about to finish his lap. He finished his lap in P3, puts in a 29.1, and now let's the McLaren pass. Anything else I wanted to touch on about? No, not really, to be honest. Let's get this one going. We are currently racing through the end of the second sector with Sebo, who's in the Alpine. And let's see what he can put on a timing board. Yeah, so the absence of Nordic is obviously quite huge in terms of the championship. We spoke to Critical after his win last time out in Abu Dhabi on how he thinks he can wrap up the championship now, and he wasn't so sure if he was going to make it at this stage. With 2 race wins of a lead, as Sebo puts in a 28.9 and is now into P3. That's a very good effort from him, as he has been struggling this season with good qualifying and race performances. But there's still, as Fellison moves into P2 and is only 3 tenths behind critical damage. Is there anyone else on hot lap? Doesn't seem to be. Nico on the intermediate tires is on a 1:31.6. That is currently fast enough for P8, and not even the slowest out of the cars who just have put in a time in the session already, as he runs wide at the exit of 17. So yeah, there's just critical damage is still suspicious about how fast Nordic was, as Critical just puts in a new fastest lap that is over a second faster than Fellison. What an effort from the Ferrari driver. But if he wins tonight, then the thing is wrapped up, basically. Especially when he wins with if he wins with fastest laps. No, hang on. 50 is the lead right now, and there will be 3 races to go, so he would put it into 75 or 76 if he gets the fastest lap. And you still can... you wouldn't wrap it up. Yeah, even if Nordic doesn't score, he can win all the next 3 races and get all other fastest laps as well. Okay. Then no championship crowning tonight. He has to race 14, then it's 75 or maybe 76 points ahead. Krankjork is on a fast lap now. Aiden is, Tsiako is as well, and Kismokus, who's closest to the line. So next time in Singapore, Critical can take the win in the championship. And Ferrari need to outscore Red Bull tonight quite severely, and even then it's still possible. Kismakos is in P2, in P10 right now, and Siatko is maybe about to correct that. Yes, now it's Kismakos into P11 as the Haas driver is into P6. Let's go on board with Aiden, who finishes his lap now after some early woes, and he's into P3 on a 28.7. That's 0.05 of a second faster than Moksha at the moment, who's in P4. And then we have Kovatska, who's starting another lap now. Krankjork is about to finish his, but he just ran right at the exit of 17. Still wants to complete his lap. And Krankjork is into P10 with a 31.4. And everyone has set a lap time now. As Zevagi, I have to look up who that is, to be honest. Let's see on the check-in. I don't see a familiar name with that. Let me check the lineup once again. I have no idea who that is. Yeah, names should be the same as in the Discord, to be honest. It's making it really annoying. Hello Nordic. I hope your studies are going well. Critical should stop sweating. Not so serious at the moment. Yeah, maybe that 1 second gap is a bit huge. Who's next to cross the line? Krankjork into the pits. That's an invalidation for Zevage. But he starts another lap. Got another yellow flag, so I can't see how much fucking time there's left. Which annoys me. Oh, and it hits the wall at the exit of 3. And that lap is compromised, if any. There's an Alpine over the line. That's Nico now. Let's go on board. Fast into turn 1 into 4th gear. Running a bit of both curbs on the entry and apex of 2 and 3. Now he heads into 4, 5. Very close to the... Oh, and he runs right. But the lap is not invalid, and he continues. Now he has invalidated it. He's 2 seconds faster, but he has invalidated it now. That means there's no improvement for the Alpine driver as of right now. 4 minutes to go. That's still some time to go into the pits. Ingenia puts in a 30.9, is currently P10 now. And has beaten Krankjork, Nico, and Supermax. So both AlphaTauris are currently down at the bottom 4, as we have no SIBO now. Let's see. A bit more conservative and uses a lot of the tracks outside line at the end of lap turn 3, and he doesn't really attack the corners like his teammate has. So maybe that stick can produce an improvement. Not as of right now. Spectate Nico, I believe in my teammate Nico Bro. I just watch him. He was now trying to find a braking point. That's 100 meters for turn 11. And now this awfully slow and ever so tightening right-hander into this horrendous chicane that doesn't fit the flow of this track. Now into 16th in first gear, which I find very odd, and I can't see how this will improve his time as he's down by 2 seconds. As more people are coming out of the pits. And he is quite low at the moment, only P6. And it seems like SIBO has aborted this lap earlier and is now trying to start another run. As 3 minutes left on the clock are just not enough time left to complete driving into the pits and going out with some spare time. So that is quite crucial here. And let's see who is on a flyer at the moment. We got parked up Siatko, so I assume that is not the case. Let's see what Aiden does. He is the second down. Supermax is on a flyer, it seems. He's just in front of a McLaren. That must be Fellison on an outlap, since ENG is in. 0.4 of a second improvement that would currently put Supermax ahead of Nico, but he hasn't set a time on the soft tire so far, so yeah, he's out of his position. And Aiden retires in the pits. He will not improve past P5 anymore, and there it is. He goes into P12. And Fellison is now starting a lap. Let's go on board with the McLaren driver, who's choosing third gear. Oh! And he's trying to avoid Supermax and now has spun himself. What the fuck was that from Supermax? Kovacs gets into the pits now, couldn't improve, so that's probably P8. As we now have also the second Red Bull starting a lap now. And there's Skranko in an out lap? No, he's just came into the pits. Oh, Jesus Christ. And there's been a retirement. At the end, at the starting part of the first major straight. Oh. Spectate Nigo. Yeah, we can do that. He's currently one of the favorites, but is down at the moment. I think Siatko improved, Kismakos has retired. So Fellison probably has not enough time left to try another attempt. ENG has started another lap. Critical has started another lap. I think the position is out of the question for him. And Fellison retires! He has crashed at the exit of turn 17 into 18. As Nico hits the wall a bit there. Moksha also retires. No more improvements. Moksha was into P3 now. Good effort by the German. And the other German we are currently watching is into the braking zone of 17. He was up by 3.7 seconds and is probably looking to try to get into the 128s. Can he improve? P3 13 at the moment. He is into pole position! Nico takes the pole at the last second, but has Critical an answer for that? Critical, 2/10 down at the moment. He needs to find 4/10 of a second to make sure he secures this pole position. That also might be very crucial since overtaking even league racing is critical here, and you can't really pass people only if you have a big tire advantage or pace. So there's only this big straight and 3 corners to go. Can the Ferrari, who's currently favorite for the World Championship, take the pole position back after having a lead of over a second to Fallison? He's around the last couple of corners. There's a McLaren going out of the way. Critical over the line. He takes pole position by 2/10. It's a 26.4. Nico is demoted to second. And you have your pole position sitter once again. It's Critical damage. 67 on pole for the Miami Grand Prix tonight. There you have it. The time is up. Everyone has set the time, so I was into the pits. And Critical is on pole position. Very good effort from Nico. But he's just been beaten by a little over 2/10. Fallison is into P3, a whopping 1.5 seconds behind that. Less than a tenth behind is Moksha, so we might see a close battle with that, and there's some more gaps. Sevage, then with Aiden, Siatko, No Saber, who's put in a good qualifying tonight. He's currently in P8, and with Andy Andre, who is very low down the field, as is Kovatska, Ingine, Crank York, Lambo owner, aka Supermax, and Kismokus are your top 14 and the qualifying. The driver interviews for last week's race. We had a talk to... Oh, thank you, Nordic, for the follow as well. Usually I follows on, but somehow it's not working when I commentate on Monday. I have to fix that for next time, maybe. Thank you very much for your follow. Last time, after that P2 finish, Andy and I had a talk in the post-race interviews, and I asked him about Miami, and he said he has barely raced there before, and I think that shows. Maybe usually, and he's probably putting in some practice, doing some warm-ups. Maybe that's an hour worth of practice with a driver at his pace, his caliber. You can expect him to do good, but this track some sort of is tricky to master in any way. Like, every corner is so different. You have to watch out for the curbs in the first sector, especially turns 1, 2, 3, and after that the slingshot high-speed chicane, let's call it that, is also tricky to get right. You can understeer, you can ride the curbs and understeer, you can run wide, invalidate the lap. We have to see if Andy makes it into a good spot, if he can tell us more about his experience in the qualifying tonight. Personally, I think he's still up for a good race. He just needs to make sure, even if he can't push to the fullest, that he makes the most out of everyone else's mistakes, so he doesn't do a Sergio Perez of yesterday into the first turn, or basically repeats Hamilton from the sprint, because he's also in the Mercedes. We will be having a close eye on Andy S for Kovacs as well, because he's only down a P10. when we cast our minds back to China, he was constantly, throughout the whole race, betting Fellison for P3, who is currently in P3. And even though the gap is quite huge to P2 in terms of the qualifying pace, that doesn't mean this is the race pace for everyone. And to get some points here tonight and maybe eke out an advantage this late into the season, you still have to finish. So if you want to make sure you get some good points here, first you should finish and avoid mistakes. Strategy plays a part here. There's some sort of a large pit lane that is constructed with a chicane at the entry, and there's a very slow exit as well on very cold tires. And the first sector is no fun at all, especially after you cool the tires down again into the turn 11 braking point, since there's basically no chance to warm them up by driving a normal outlap. The race will begin shortly. As always, there's no formation lap, so we will have a close eye on the start and try not to miss it. I get it the first time when commentating here. I hope that with two of the better drivers we'll see a nice run through the pack as we go to 5 red lights for the Miami Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. I just butchered it completely. Critical has a good start. On the outside there's Fellison, but he has no chance to getting... Oh, there's a contact! Savege has turned into Moksha, and it seemed like a copy-paste incident almost of Sargent against Magnussen, and Sjatko is into P4 already, and there's Aiden going off. And Annie has capitalized off that. He is into P6. There's more scrambling for positions going at the back of this field. There's more squeezing. There's more contact. There's a damaged front wing to one of the Alpha Taurus, I think. And they've been demoted to 11 and 13. As Aiden is just trying to battle Crank York at the start of this race down the first real heavy braking zone of turn 11. There's Sibo going slow. Kovacs is maybe trying to look at this. At the front, nothing has changed. There's a 7/10 lead for Critical already. Then Supermax is trying to battle it with Aiden. He's very slow into the chicane. There's no Alpine S battle going through that turn. And he's now pulling into the slipstream. There's a late move from Jesus Christ, I missed that. A late move from Aiden on Sviatko, who's just been passed by Sevagi. And is now demoted to P6 again, as the front three have already pulled 2 seconds. 2 seconds alone. Ingenious into the pits. We started on the mediums. Let's get these things back on. As usual. As if this off. And there's a front wing change and a tire change. And that is gonna hurt his race early on, as both of the towers are at the back now. There's a 9/10 lead from Critical over Nico, and Fellison is quite the same distance away. And now we got Andy in the slipstream of the Red Bull, who is currently occupying P4. And Siatko on his softs, just like Trank York, has gone for the aggressive strategy. And at the front, I just noticed 3 drivers are on the hard tire, as there's Supermax into the braking zone of turn 11, and he went in deep, like really deep. Siatko has spun. He's now into 11th. That was a very good start to this race, as we see how Savagi is now under switchbacking Andy, who tried to outbrake him into 17th. There's a slipstream fest into turn 1 now. Is Andy pulling to the inside? No. And Eugenia has just caused another yellow flag. As Kovatska is still at the back of Nocebo, and there's another spin for Supermax on the hard tires. But there's no harm done to his front wing. At least not from the spectator's perspective. There's no visual damage as Andy has been running wide into that turn 8. Let's call it U-turn. And there's a opened wheel ring for the Mercedes as he shows himself on the inside. Oh! Moksha almost lost it into the left-hand side corner. At the exit of 11. He almost went the other way around as he's supposed to go for turn 12. And that was very costly because he has lost the DRS to the guys in front. And is on hard tire. They will come in later into the race. Their pace will be activated in some laps time as Andy goes back to try and overtake Sevagi. And he's currently completed the overtake into 17th. But there's another DRS straight on this start-finish straight. Is the Red Bull trying to pull another one to the inside? Is he gonna dive there? No, as another yellow flag by the second McLaren is caused. And we see how loose the Red Bull is on the exit of turn 3. And the hards are currently, as I said, not really in the window. And it's going to be a task to keep that pace, to stay with the Mercedes, who's just gone wide at the entry of 7. Now there's an opportunity for the Red Bull again into 11th as we ride on board. He is using the opened rear wing to try to overtake the Mercedes. He has showed himself and tried to signal he's going for the inside, but he backed out of it in the last second. Oh! There was a bit of a locked front tire there as he braked into the chicane. And has run a bit wide on the exit there. Is now using a bit of AS to counter the lost pace as Krankjorg, who is the first. Oh, and he runs into the back. Sevagi has run into the back of Andy. And now was almost collected by Nocebo. Moksha gets past. Andy has lost a huge amount of time. Maybe even his rear diffuser as this part of the car can also be damaged since the last iteration, the 2022 game. And now we have a pit stop for the Red Bull who was currently trying, or who was, oh, and Nico has spun! The action is just unfolding at the start of this race. We are on lap 5, we've just seen a 2-car collision into turn 17, and now the Alpine, who was in second place, out of the DRS zone, but still comfortable in the podium position, has now spun, and is 6 seconds behind Fellison now, and has to claw back some pace as Moksha's on the rise to follow up with some cars behind him. Nocebo, Andy, Nocebo, and Kovatska in this order are trying to close the gap to the front guys. They're currently not battling. And Nico wants to make sure he gets out of there as soon as possible. Nico, come on, bro. Yeah, that is true. I've never seen use this emote you always use before. But I like how you use it. It's funny. As Kovatska, Andy passes Moksha and Kovatska passes Nocebo. There's another yellow flag. Moksha is still side by side with Andy. I have to correct myself. Who has the DRS? Andy has it. He's passed the Williams again. Is there a repass over opportunity for Nocebo into turn 1? No, and he's very low on ERS. You should maybe save that now. have to take a sip of my drink. And lap 5. Nico spawn. So, Moksha is still in the DRS. Oh, he tried to go to the outside line, but Andy closed that door very late on. And he keeps ahead of the Williams. And Kowalski has pulled in into this battle. And if two guys fight, the third one is rubbing his hands and is enjoying this. As Siatko has gone off. Siatko, again, another driver into turn 11, who's just completely mistimed their braking. Now Moksha, again. In the battle for P4. Nico has pulled 2.5 now. There's no one of them ERS left. Yeah, no one has left. No one has ERS left, sorry. Okay, we've calmed down a bit. We're currently still watching this midway battle. Midway battle? Midfield battle. Basically, best of the rest. I have to correct myself there. We got 6 positions gained for Kismukas at the moment, who has not spun compared to his rivals. 4 places for Andy and Kovaska as well. And the biggest loser is Sevage, who's down 7. Siatko and Aiden are also down by 4. And Sevage and Engineer are the only 2 drivers to have made a pit stop. But we will probably see more stops soon, because Siatko and Krankel should move off them soft soon. Siatko had 2 spins, or maybe 1.5 spins already, and these tires are probably screaming. He's under pressure from Sevage, but I can't see an overtaking opportunity for him into the chicane. He's very close behind though, the guy with the 45. Let's see what is ERS looking like. Very evenly matched ERS values at the moment. And he pulls to the inside already. He's made the move past the Haas and is now into P11 and has to close a gap of 8 seconds for the first points paying position. And there's another yellow flag because of Ingina, who is about to be lapped on lap 7 by Critical, who's on the mediums. He has chosen to go for the well-rounded option in terms of the tires at the start. You can react to everything happening on track quite well. And even if nothing happens, you're in the best spot to just make that one stop work. And both soft runners have not pitted yet. Andy is very close now, side by side to the Williams again as they hit the braking zone for turn 17. And he has completed the move. Kovacs is currently not in the distance to fight that, as Engine is on the outside of turn 3. Currently is stationary there. He's ghosted. Luckily for the others. And he got disqualified for staying there too long. So we are down to 13 drivers. It was. If it was a team race, Nico would be cooked by me. Yeah, I would also assume you would drive faster than him. There's another yellow flag. Nico has received a 3-second time penalty and adds to his woes, although he has closed the gap down to Fellison to 3.1 seconds. As we see the next attempt of a pass into turn 17 by probably Moksha now. 5 tenths behind, that might be not enough. Might not be enough at the moment. And Supermax has retired into turn 18. No, turn 8, and there's a virtual safety car, and Andy peels into the pits. He is using this opportunity to make a cheap stop. As is Fellison. Nico has continued on. He's on the hards. He can allow himself to do that. Moksha was also in the hards, but he is currently switching to a 2-stop, I would assume now, because the medium can't go 90 laps. Andy has gone to the hards that can probably do 19 laps. Let's see if we get a repeat of last night's Miami Grand Prix in the real life race, where virtual safety car, because of Max Verstappen chopping off the bollard in the chicane, has later caused a full safety car for other people who have extended their stint or who had not even a chance to pit because they already have been past the pit lane entry or not have been close to the pit lane entry at any stage. Drive-through penalty for Kovalskaya! Drive-through penalty! And there's Kismukus as well, who just ruins his best effort at the moment. Or at least for the races I've been watching. With a drive-through penalty at the end of the virtual safety car. Nico, stop being washed. I didn't go and learn maths because of this comeback season. But there's some double mediums? What? Or is it just me? Yeah, he's on the second set of mediums now. As Nico receives a 5-second speeding in a pit lane penalty. My guy is throwing himself at the penalties. Yeah, I think actually 2-stop isn't too bad on this racetrack. I've tried and tested this myself. I obviously can't compare the pace to these drivers because I haven't raced on this grid. Just against some guys, as Kovalskaya has peeled into the pits. Nocebo's now into P6 as Kovalskaya serves his penalty. Kismukus does as well. And we got Nico now. Just pitted for mediums on the inside of Andy and retakes third place. As then is another 5-second time penalty. And this time it's for the Red Bull of Sevage. Nico, I just gave up. My guy, you should be focusing on some good old formulas and not this Formula 1. Andy is still there. Nico still has to make a pit stop, as has Critical. And Fellison is soon joined. Has some company soon. P3 and 4 are closing in on him. Very low on ERS as well. And let's see if Kovacic can make it past Krankjorg, who also has pitted for the new mediums. Oh, and Kovacic goes to the inside. That's very late. Is there contact between the drivers? No. Krankjorg is still ahead, but there's the second on the 30 area zone on the main straight coming up now for Kowalska. Krakow is defending it to the middle of the track to trying to ruin the line for Kowalska, but he just completed the overtake around the outside of 2. Very nicely done. And Nico is into the DRS zone. The DRS window of second place Fellison. As we watch from the rear wing of the McLaren. Andy is out of the DRS now, and Moksha is also not in the DRS over Andy. So the virtual safety car has killed a bit of the racing we have seen so far. It's side by side with Nico. He's on the inside now. Fellison has been passed completely, but there's a new fast lap for Nico and a new opportunity for Fellison on the inside, but he isn't aggressive enough to make that move stick into the first turn, as Kowalska is pulling to the outside of Aiden, who wanted to let him by, but then decided to even brake later than the Ferrari ahead. And Krankog is also a possible new candidate to take away P8 from the Alfa Romeo, who had a very poor start to the race, ran wide and had a collision early on. And Fellison is trying to keep within the DRS window of Nico. And he has lost it, in fact. And Critic is into the pits. The race leader has peed into the pits. He currently holds an advantage of 21 seconds over the next car, because Nico has pitted under the virtual safety car, as is Fellison, who is already outside and continues to be the DRS window over Nico. And Critic has stayed in the lead by roughly 2 seconds, although the tires need some warm up now. But I don't think he's under pressure from anyone. He's on 76% of ERS, which is like 5 times more than the rest behind him. And he is one of the drivers who can finish the race on the tire with the tire he's on right now, as can Andy. But as you can see, the tires are 4 laps older. Still possible. But I would assume a late soft stint maybe for Moksha, Fellison and Nico could result in late passing opportunities onto Andy, who will be in second place by that. Fellison is probably going to the softs as I speak about this now, because he has been on the mediums from the start. He has to choose another slick tire compound. Nico can select whatever he wants. He started on hards, it's now only medium, and Moksha also started on hards, is on the mediums right now. There are no rebattles at the moment. Kowalska is ahead of Aiden, as Gizmo gets a 3-second time penalty. Both Red Bulls are at the back. Nordic Ninja, how do you feel about this one? And they're only basically 10 out of 12 get points, and both Red Bulls are not it. You just continue towards our race leader, as I give you a reminder of the current penalty situation. Nico has 8 seconds after exceeding the track limits. Kismakus is into the pits. Ah. New tire for him. Hearts. Okay. And yeah, you also received a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane early on. Frank York was the first driver to be handed a time penalty. He has 3 seconds to his name. Sevage has also sped in a pit lane. Kismakus, we just saw it. 3 seconds to his name as well. Let's look at the gap to the leader. That's over pit stop from P6 downwards. That is the lead of Critica at the moment. Who's used over 30% of his ERS to get away from the guys behind. He's on fresher rubber. And is probably trying to set the new fastest lap of the race. That is currently 2/10. He is currently 2/10 behind Nico. As there's actually no Sebo. No, who's that? Moksha. He's going for the inside of Andy. These two meet once again. And in contrast to the driver on the reward, they can actually keep it on the black stuff while racing side by side into P11 without 10-second time penalties dish out to drivers. And Moksha couldn't complete the pass onto Andy. There's another opportunity now. And Sevage has received another time penalty. That's 3 seconds now. And he's up to a total of 8. As Zwiatu is closing in on Krankyok for P9. And Moksha is on the inside of Andy into turn 1, but isn't significantly alongside to battle him side by side through the first 3 turns. And Andy's on a good way. Oh! To run wide once again, and Moksha is side by side with him now at the exit of turn 8. And I think that has gifted the DRS to Andy as Tsiatko. No, Aiden is into the pits. He's just putting on a new set of mediums. As Moksha is now ahead of the Mercedes of Andy. Oh, and he completely slides over the orange sausage curb on the inside of 15. Has to watch out for Andy behind. Side by side into the braking zone of 17. And Andy has passed the Williams again. This is costing him huge, because he kind of needs a quiet race at the moment where he just can't find his rhythm, his pace. 3 second time penalty to Aiden to make sure he has some tires left. And Fellerson and Nico, who probably, while Fellerson has to pit, Nico wants to run these tires to the end. He obviously can choose to do so as Kovalska has pitted. He doesn't want the hard anymore and has chosen to go to the medium as Krankyok, Tsiatko, all of them passed them. Oh, we got a... Sevage has just passed Aiden for P10. Is there a repass attempt by Aiden into turn 1? The DRS was given to the Red Bull. He is ahead of the Red Bull at the entry into turn 1, and there's an oversteer for the Red Bull and he lost out on the momentum, and the Alfa Romeo keeps it in front for now. Oh, he's off! The Red Bull's off in the background. And I was... Oh! He goes deep into turn 8. I was quite close. Nico has retired! And there's a new virtual safety car. He's at the exit of turn 4. No, turn 3. Nico has retired from this race in a good position to take a podium here. And there's a virtual safety car. And the first guy to capitalize off of that is Nocebo, his teammate. Is that a crash gate? We will find out later. As Nordic has just unfriended Nico on Steam. No, I'm kidding. Let's see what the other guys are doing. Kovalska keeps stays out because he just pitted a lap earlier. Krankjorg to fresh mediums now. Why is there virtual safety? Because of Nico, who just crashed out at the exit of turn 3 here. We are just passing that corner with Krankjorg. And Nico has just lost it at the exit of turn 3. DRS has been enabled and the virtual safety car has been pulled into the pits. To the virtual pits, of course. No one at the front could capitalize off of that. And Feddersen just pitted now. Oh. Don't touch the wall there, mate. And he is into second. Feddersen will be going to another set of mediums. Bro! Didn't you start on the mediums? Am I delusional? I just want to check that. I started on the hards. Okay, sorry. I was delusional. I crashed, didn't see that. It was hard to catch. But I called it out. As we now have a free card train of P7, 8 and P9. The Haas is to the inside of the AlphaTauri, who brakes a bit earlier. And that also allows the Alfa Romeo to be on the inside for a short amount of time. And the Haas has completed the overtake and is into P7 now. Also the only car with 0 penalties to his name regarding this three-way fight. Feddersen has 9 laps to claw back a gap of 9 seconds, which seems to be very doable. And there's quite some ERS to spare. So it's quite some spare ERS to use for him. And I would also assume a new fastest lap coming from the McLaren now. And Moksha is now in no man's land, as he has 9 seconds ahead of him, no one, and 13 behind him, no one. And Nocebo is driving the race of the season at the moment. I don't think he has scored double-digit points so far. So I hope I did not jinx him. And he's also onto fresh tires, so it's going to be hard for Kovalska to catch up. Although there has been quite a huge pace advantage throughout the races I've covered on this league. And Nocebo was usually was closer to where Krankjorg is right now. Krankjorg. Let's see. Pedersen is already down to 6.5 seconds. As the Z2 has already... That's a very difficult name. Z2 has already checked out. Left the Alfa Romeo and the Alpha Tower in the dust now. Is an taking opportunity for Crank York? No. But if he can stay close, he might be able to pass the Alfa Romeo. 11% ERS compared to 65. That's huge. That's basically pressing ERS for the whole straight, and now Crankyard just misjudged that inside line and its breaking point. And yeah, Aiden saw that coming, took evasive maneuvers, and made sure to make sure his car was still intact after they both exited turn 17. Ferguson has closed the gap down even more. It's 4 tenths now. As Critical is close to extend his advantage to 20 seconds, and he has already lapped Gizmokos. Still DRS for Crank York, who could use more spare energy to keep the gap close. Oh, and there's a cutting. Oh! What was that from Aiden? And there's another virtual safety car after received the 10-second time penalty. I'm surprised there's no full safety car for tonight. Is it on reduced here? I didn't think so before. Hang on, there's a full safety car. It's a full safety car. In front of Seaboard, the safety car has come out. There's a full safety car at the end of this race. 5-second time penalty for Siatko, speeding in the pit lane. Why is it only saying virtual safety car? I was so surprised that there was no full safety car. So the first guys into the pits are Kovetska, Siaktu, Crank York, and then the Red Bull. Critic is also coming into the pits. He has the biggest gap to the car behind. You can just imagine that Andy's race might have been saved if he has enough pace to keep Ferguson behind. Which didn't or isn't looking like he has. Siatko 5-second time penalty hurts. And there's a 5-second time penalty for Andy as well. My guy, what are you doing? Moksha might be into another podium position. What do you mean another podium finish? He has what is his name? Moksha has 2 podiums. In total, has 2 of them has scored 2 of them in 3 races. Wasn't on the podium last time. No, in China. So that's 3 podiums in 5 or 6 races. After having scored basically... Yeah, well, he hasn't scored any before that. And I think the race where his first podium came was Canada, which was race 9 or 8. One of the races we didn't cover here on this channel. As is there an over... If Critical was nice to let Kismukus pass by moving off the track. He could unlap himself as Siatko is into the pits once again to serve the penalty, apparently. That might be a long safety car now. I'm just gonna take a sip of my drink. Something to keep my vocal cords alive. I don't know how we don't have cars unlipping themselves under the safety car. I don't get it. I think it was in the 2016 game. I remember in Malaysia league race. Bro, you have to move past the safety car now. I would assume he gets a 5-second time penalty. Yep. Called it. The problem is, you can pass the safety car if you're a lap behind, but only if the leader is not in front of you. You need the leader to be so kind to move off the racing track. You getting past it, by the way, it updated to the full safety car now at the top left. And then you have the time to, or the opportunity to get back. I don't want the restart to be interrupted by ads, so I'm just gonna run you a quick 30-second ad and then we will be back shortly. Welcome back. Kismukus has just received a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting the chicane after he passed critical and the safety car to be on the lead car's lap. And we take another tour around the Miami International Autodrome. Now, what is the official title? Let me check. Miami International Autodrome. Okay. Something like this, yeah. Okay, Ziatko has served his time penalty, which, to be fair, is a smart move. When was that retiring? In 22. It's a smart move because everyone was about to be bunched up anyway again. The gaps were huge. Attila says, I find it funny that they need so many laps to clean the track even in game. Yeah, to be honest, the feature or the intention here is to make sure the field is back together. Like, it's not focused on the cleaning up of the debris or anything, just more focused on the game is analyzing how far the cars are away from each other as the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Gizmocus is about to rejoin the pack as a P10. It's just seeing how many laps are left and how long, and based on that it's calculated how long the safety car will be out, as there's a lot of sliding going on from Zivagi at the back there, and Critica is controlling the pace, and he's just gone. Oh, that's a nice shot. And he has restarted this race with a gap of 7/10, but I'm more focused on Fallison because I think he has the faster pace and also no penalty to finish P2. And Ziatko can maybe move himself into P6 or further ahead. And also because of penalties. Bro, I just ran an ad. Why do you need another one? But listen, so we're in 3/10 of a second behind Andy. There's no DRS as of right now. I think that will be activated on the last lap. Moksha just needs to make sure he's not being passed by Nocibo, because he is also benefiting from that 5-second time penalty, and Andy cuts the corner after missing the entry of turn 15, and he's probably now demoted to even more places. He has 8 seconds worth of time penalty. That's Moksha, Nocibo, and Kovatska all getting past. Even Sgatko, who's like half a straight behind him, is within that 8 seconds at the moment, I think. Let's look at the gaps. Yeah, he is. Critical just takes the fastest lap of the race and is about to put in a Grand Slam, having scored the pole position, having led all the laps of the race, and even the fastest lap of the race will end before it's in again. No, that is impossible. The safety car will be in at the end of the third last lap, so we have always at least 2 laps of racing after safety car. Always. That's the rule. Lap 28 of 29. Fallison shows himself in the mirrors of Andy. And Abu Dhabi moments guaranteed. Yeah, maybe to prevent that, I don't know. Krankjörg has repassed Shetku, or they're racing side by side. There's a 5-second time penalty for Sevage as he cuts the corner, probably chicane once more. And there's a very loose AlphaTauri as Shetku has now lost more time, and Krankjörg has lost his front wing now, and has damaged his rear wing probably as well. That has just gone from a decent race to no, there's no safety car. It's the last lap. Just as I said, it will end at the third last lap, and after that there's no opportunity. Like, the latest the safety car came out is technically the first lap, and then it will come in at the end of the lap again if it catches the lead car in the moment it comes out. Fallison is currently 8/10 behind Andy. I don't think there's an opportunity to pass him. And also, Andy has the DRS of Critical. Not even an opportunity to see. Interesting. Yeah, there's no safety car for the last 3 laps. Basically, it will end before that. Kovatska and Nocibo battling. Fallison has a 3-second time penalty, but then he has more. Moksha might be in a prime position. He has to make sure he stays on the track. He's not pressured by anyone. Kovatska is maybe trying to make a move now. There's no DRS on Andy. There's so much going on into this last. Fallison is trying to make a move. I don't know why. We say Critical. coming across the line to finish the race. Grand Slam for him. Fellison is into P2. But he's demoted. No, he's not. Moksha can't make it past the McLaren. And there are more penalties who have not been served by now. Dished out to the drivers. As a Sevagil currently into P7. As Yetko has no chance of capitalizing out of the penalties. Kovetska, no Sibo, both move past Andy. And he's some sort of lucky. He is lucky because there's an incident. There has been an incident where more drivers lost time to him. Crank York will get 2 points and 1 point for Gizmokus as he's finishing the race on no battery left. Moksha wasn't fast enough to capitalize over Fellison, but he has completed another run to the podium. Very well done. And Krangjorg is your driver of the day. As we see the podium, once again it's critical damage. On the top split of the podium, he takes his 9th win of the season. In 14 races, that's quite impressive. That's 11 podiums for him now. That's 3 for Moksha in total. And that's 5 for Fellison. And Critical is on 5 pole positions as well now. Here we have it, the final result. Just gonna screenshot this if they need it. Critical takes in very impressive and never in doubt victory. Also Grand Slam in front of Fellison. Moksha, Kovetska, no Sibo has my driver today personally. Andy, then it's Sevage on his debut as a replacement for Nordic, Tsiatko, Krankjorg, Kismokus, all the finishers, and then you have Aiden, Nico, Supermax, and Egine, who did not finish this race. Just give me a short break and then we maybe see some interviews.
I passed the pit entry.
Congratulations to Critical Damage on taking this elusive victory tonight here in Miami. What do you think about that race?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it was a really enjoyable race. Pretty chill until the last safety car that pretty much made it a 3-lap shootout. But other than that, yeah, very, very nice.
Yeah, you had a close call on the qualifying. At the end, you still beat Nico by 2/10, and you were quite far ahead of the rest of the field. You also put in leading every lap of the race and also the fastest lap of the race, which is also known as a Grand Slam. This is kind of a do-or-die position now to Nordic to win every race with the fastest lap now. You, after the last race in Abu Dhabi, where you had that close fight with Andy and Nordic, you said to me that you were probably not going to take this as a granted championship title, even if Nordic missed a race, which he has done now by tonight. How confident I to finish this journey in the last 3 races now, just 7 days later after this huge performance from you?
Well, I cannot lie. It looks quite good for me, but I think it's not mathematically done yet, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not
there
done.
are
It can be
78.
achieved still. He has to win all
Yeah.
3 races and all 3 fastest laps as well, and you have to score maybe 1 or 2 points maximum
Yeah.
in 3 races.
Mhm.
That's the math.
I'm definitely more confident now than that I was last week. But yeah, let's see. I think Nordic is quite fast on Monaco and Singapore, so you never know. Maybe a crash here and there. I lose 25 points. So yeah, until the Fat Lady sings, I'm not going to be too confident.
That's a fair statement by you. There's another thing. Also, the Constructors' Championship is more likely to be closed out by you now with a teammate next time as well, because Red Bull hasn't scored any real points tonight in comparison to you guys. And if you have a certain, I think 40 or more points maybe ahead than compared to tonight, then you will be crowned Constructors' Champion again after last season. Is that also on your mind, or just have closed out the well, you have improved your result now? Do you still think about this Constructors Championship, or is currently only the drivers in your mind?
Well, I'm definitely happy about the constructor championship, but it has not really been on my mind since I don't know Japan. I think quite a few races ago, it was quite clear that we have a good pairing at Ferrari, and yeah, it's quite difficult for the others to catch us. But yeah, it's just nice to have it in the back, and now it's all about the drivers' championship.
Okay, then I wish you good luck for next time in 7 days' time for the Singapore Grand Prix. Thank you very much for your insight, and have a good night.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Thanks. We move on to second place, Fellison in the McLaren tonight. You couldn't unfortunately repeat what Lando Norris did yesterday, but his P2 finish is still a strong result, and you seem to have the pace more compared, especially to Andy, since Nordic wasn't the hasn't attended this race tonight. What do you feel? How do you feel about this race, and how was that last lap 5 with Andy?
Um, I I think this race could not have gone any better. I mean, it was quite lucky that Andy got the 5-second penalty under the safety car, entering the pit lane.
Yeah.
So from there on, I knew I didn't have to really push. I kind of know, and I accepted that I probably will never catch Critical or Nordic, so they like out of my vision. You know, I just don't even see them on the track. P3, P4 is probably the best that I can achieve on any given race. So if it's any better than that, it's pretty much just luck. I tried to go long with the hards in the beginning, but I was asking my friends in voice chat about the medium tire, about their life, and it was pretty much the same. So I got quite disheartened by that, and I still couldn't close the gap to Critical. I broke my wing, but as I was spitting, I think Lambo has crashed out, and it brought out a VSC, so I didn't really lose too much time there.
Yeah, that was very interesting. We had only Critical in the top 4 or 5 start on the medium tire, you and Moksha, and also Nico decided to start on the hard tire. You went to the double medium because of the VSC. Were you confident you could take the gap away from Andy after you pitted for the last time before the last safety car came out? Or were you like, maybe that's close on the edge, maybe the tire life of the medium and the pace will drop earlier than expected because it's still a bit hard on tire somehow? What was your thought process when you pitted for the last medium?
So yeah, I think I probably would have caught him on the mediums because I was just looking at the gap and it came down drastically every lap. I think at some point I was taking like 3 seconds out of him.
No.
It would have been a little bit interesting because it's one thing to catch up with someone. It's a very different thing to try to overtake them. And probably by that time the tire would have been similar, but I think I would have still had the advantage on the mediums
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
compared to the hards. But yeah, with the safety car coming out in the very end, just turned into a sprint again, sadly.
Yeah, that is true. What are your thoughts on next week's race in Singapore? Do you feel like you can repeat a good race like you had in the last couple of races, or is this one of the tracks you just get a headache from?
I don't really like Singapore, but it's normally a high chance of rain, and I do like the rain. So I think if it's raining, I will have more chance than I would have in the dries at any time. So fingers crossed it's gonna rain next week.
Okay, you're practicing in rain dance then in preparation for next week. Okay. Then congratulations again on your second place tonight, and let's move on to the Williams driver of Moksha. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, Moksha, you have just got your third podium out of the last 6 races. That is quite impressive stat. Also considering how you kept it on the black stuff compared to other guys in front, and how this race was sort of always in your hands in terms of your position. You also started on the hards, switched to the medium strategy, and were also right to do the last stint on the softs. How do you feel about the race pace? Was this the maximum you could have achieved? Was it better than you thought it would be? What are your feelings right now after the race?
Yeah, I think it actually was better than my pace today. It was good that Andy had a penalty, the last 5-second penalties, which make me to P3. Otherwise, I wouldn't have catched these guys. The last safety car was very lucky. Yeah, I was taken out the first lap, the first corner. Went back to P5 or P6, I don't know. And yeah, then I just wanted to control my pace, which I could because no one was near me. So I just drove my race.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of battling going on with Andy after the VSC pit stop for both of you. How do you think the battle was from your side? Was it all fair and square? Because you have been on screen for quite some time tonight. Is this something you were looking forward to, maybe having some sort of battles if the race wasn't like particularly good on pace, or do you just wanted to be left alone kind of and control your race by yourself?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to stay behind Andy, but he was very slow in the corners, especially on the hards. So I tried to overtake, and he overtake me back again, and so on and so on. Yeah, I don't know. He was really faster than me. I just was lucky to keep up.
Okay. Still, as I said, no penalties for you, so you really deserve that P3 at the end. Looking forward to next week's race. Are you there for Singapore, and what are your feelings about the track? Do you like it? Do you hate it? How do you go into the preparation for this next race?
It's actually not my best track. I try to have a training throughout the week. Yeah, but I hope for the same place as today. But I think it's not possible. So Critical and Nordic, they drive before me. Andy is faster. Fellison always with a good speed. Sometimes nice battle. Yeah, but I think P5, P6 would be a good result for me.
Yeah, maybe you join Fellison on the rain dance practice there, maybe. Let's see next time. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your insights. And I'd like to thank you for watching. Next time in 7 days, we got the Singapore race 15 out of 17. The season is coming to the end, as is this game. If you enjoyed it, leave me a follow. Check out next week's stream as well. and see you next time. Good night.